Open to West Park, McLean County, Illinois. Nearest town is Leroy, Illinois, or Sabina's nearby, Aerosmith, also nearby. It's pretty nice. There's a couple markers up ahead that I'm going to read to you. And there's like a picnic area that doesn't get used very often. The park does get maintained some, obviously. They mowed it. Oh, there's 3 markers here now. Oh yeah, they moved one from a nearby place, trying to say that it's here now, which in a sense it was. I believe that this was the oldest marker. And in fact, I'm sure of it. I know that because I remember that. That one was at the other location. Anyway, park was donated to McLean County by Simeon Henry West, 10th of September 1906, for a forest preserve, dedicated to the lovers of forestry for all time. The groves are God's own temples, according to that man. The donor erected it in 1908. Let us worship at the shrine of nature, he says. Okay. Now, these 2 markers were recently moved here from another location nearby because it became private property and no longer public land. Grand Village of the Kickapoo. Well, this was probably part of the village, but the public lands that have been sold into private property are nearby. But this was all, native land at one time. By the late 1700s, Kickapoo people had established a major settlement 1 mile northeast of this location. Well, at least they mentioned that, so they did change the sign. Grand Village was well situated atop a high ridge and a savanna on the eastern edge of a 22 square mile timber tract. At that time, West Park was part of this forest known as Old Town Timber. Proximity to fertile fields, abundant game and timber, and important trade routes made this summer village the home of many Kickapoo leaders. Tecumseh reportedly visited the village when he organized an Indian confederacy to oppose American expansion. Let's see. Kickapoo summer villages included council houses, dance grounds, sweat lodges, scaffolds for drying corn, and agricultural fields. Grand Village itself, encompassed almost 1 square mile, included an enclosed stockade used to pen horses and for defense. Opposed to American expansion, the Kickapoo allied with the British during the War of 1812. Whoopsie. American frontier militia waged a war of extermination against the Kickapoo, systematically destroying villages and crops throughout central Illinois. The Kickapoo abandoned the Grand Village during this time. Many Kickapoo remained in central Illinois until the early 1830s, despite their 1819 land cessation treaty with the United States. Today, the Kickapoo live in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Mexico. Sponsored by McLean County Museum of History, with support from the Kickapoo tribe in Kansas and Illinois State Historical Society. Now, I remember an old sign done by a high school history class that said that the natives were burnt out of the area in 1900. Don't see anything about that here now. And it'd be very hard to find for me, probably. I'm going to look, though. This used to be at that other location. Grand Village of Kickapoo Park. Oops. There we go. Until 1832, so it was occupied by several thousand Kickapoo. The park is dedicated to those ancestors who lived and died here, a great nation that once called this place home. As a people who honor their elders and ancestors believe in preserving tribal ways, the Kickapoo feel the land in Illinois is something to treasure. Tribal elder John Kaskaske, dedicated May 30th, 1998. The memorial boulder was originally 1 mile to the northeast at Grand Village of the Kickapoo Park, which it was only a few years ago that closed down when the funding was taken away. 2-acre site used by Native people to commemorate and consecrate their deep ties to central Illinois. In 2022, the boulder was moved to West Park when new landowners expressed their intent to turn the park into farmland. I remember when they first tilled it, I'm thinking, wait a minute, what'd they do? Well, it's fertile ground. That's why the Kickapoo were living here. All right, there's a little bit of history for you for the area. It's a nice park. And the old powwow area was also really nice. The nearest town of any significance is the city, Leroy, Illinois. And there they've got a statue of a native in the center of town. Wasaneda is his name. And I'll try and get that later for you.